are not gonna believe this. Did y'all see the names that I had that's written in my title? Those are some names that was dropped. Y'all, this did you see the names? Did you see them? That those it's just not like I'm gonna say allegedly like to protect me and my channel. Y'all please hit that subscribe button, please, please, please. Y'all, this is a court document. These names in the court documents. Y'all, okay. I gotta breathe. Okay, I just seen this and I can't. Y'all, just okay. I'm doing a reaction to Murad Merali. He's doing a uh, he has the documents to the Diddy another part of the Diddy lawsuit that we have heard before, but they was putting in like Jane Doe's and John Doe's and this and that. Now they putting in actual name. Every name that you saw in the title is in the lawsuit. It's in the lawsuit. Okay? But I forgot to put in the two sons. I apologize for that. But as Murad reads it, you will see it. Y'all, please hit that subscribe button for me. Please. Alright, let's get on into this. Let's get into it. Y'all see the names. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. Okay, here we go. I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining Valentine TV. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and click the notification bell so you'll know every time I go on. But please hit the subscribe button, y'all. Here we go.
What?
Okay.
Are you... What?
Yep.
Excuse me?
I had to let him do it. That's how I feel.
What did I just read today?
Exactly. Y'all. Wait till you get to read.
Okay, so we got to get into this lawsuit. It is 87 pages long, so I'm going to read through everything because there's way too many important notes for me just to make cliff notes. Hey guys, it's Merali, daily and consistent.
And before he starts, I'm not going to stop a lot. I cannot speed his voice up because he talked too fast already. And Murad, I'm a member of your channel. Please do not strike me. But in order for y'all to understand the whole thing of the lawsuit, I cannot start, stop, okay? So I'm going to let it roll. Here we go. Please hit that subscribe button for me, y'all.
Content. Let's get straight into this lawsuit. I discussed it yesterday, but we're going to discuss it at length today. Shout out to Diddy Docket on Twitter for, coming through and reporting on this information. But we're going to look at the defendants. We have Diddy, we have Christina Coram, who is also in this lawsuit, known as Natasha. We have defendant Shane Pierce, who works at a restaurant and a hotel. Ruben Lira Valdez. We have John Lawrence Pelletier. And we also have Druski, Jaguar Wright, Odell. We have Janice Combs. We have defendant Helena Harris Scott. And we have Keith Lux. And we also have Brandy as well. So these are other defendants. And then there are multiple Jane Does and John.
And y'all see big homie Cece. Oh Lord, y'all. Oh my God.
Those as well. So we're going to start where, plaintiff was in shock as she never believed that she would ever see or meet defendant Diddy in real life, let alone in the small apartment rented by defendant Shane. She was ambushed. So, this is basically where we're going to start from this lawsuit, and I'm going to read out the transcripts. I can't show you every transcript because of the words, the guidelines when it comes to YouTube, and so therefore it can be of risk when of uploading, and I don't want to do that. So please listen carefully. Please listen carefully. Grab your tea, your coffee, put me on in the background and listen to this lawsuit because this is corrupt to a whole different level.
Yes.
Defendant Diddy then began advancing towards basically Ashley Parham, and she was sitting on defendant Shane's bed with a knife and held it to the right side of plaintiff's face and threatened to give her a Glasgow smile in retaliation for her previous statements on the video call about Diddy. Christina Coram then told Diddy that she did not think giving plaintiff a Glasgow smile would be advantageous to their potential clients who they could sell Ashley Parham to. Natasha, Christina Coram, whatever your name is, you are a witch. Christina then made a threat to plaintiff that they could ship her off anywhere in the world and that she would never see her family or anyone ever again. Defendant Shane then partially undressed plaintiff. Then defendant Diddy removed the remainder of plaintiff's clothing, removing the knife from her face, and then retrieved a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack. Defendant Diddy then squirted a bottle of liquid on plaintiffs, which placed her in a fear that she was being squirted with a chemical substance like acid, and plaintiff soon realized the substance was an oil lubricant. Plaintiff was squirted with this liquid substance over the entirety of her body. Christina Coram was then told by Diddy to insert what looked like a syringe from sterile packaging into her V. He did as she was told, while assisted by defendant Brandy, and then told defendant Diddy that they were unable to use the IUD because it had been prematurely released. Defendant Diddy, upset by this, took...
Y'all remember the story? Y'all remember this lawsuit, right? It's the same lawsuit, but though she is putting the names with the places, with the who did what. Y'all got to just stay to the end. Stay to the end, please.
The syringe from Christina and tried inserting it in Ashley's V. KK and Diddy began to argue as KK continued to advise defendant Diddy that since the IUD had been prematurely released from its packaging, it could not be inserted into Ashley's V. After some time, defendant Diddy needed the advice of KK and removed the syringe and handed it to defendant KK. Defendant KK, Christina, and Brandy then exited, and Diddy then picked up a television remote and inserted it into Ashley's V. Defendant Diddy, whilst violently R-wording plaintiff, told plaintiff that her life was in his hands and that if he wanted to, he could take her and she would never be seen again. Ashley Parham, the victim, allegedly was crying as she was violently R-worded, and Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to turn plaintiff on her stomach. Defendant Shane then grabbed plaintiff by her abdomen and hips and turned her on her stomach. Diddy then instructed Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries, as he basically did this R-word, and he anally R-worded her as well. Defendant Doe 2 then joined defendant Diddy and Shane, taking turns, and immediately defendant Diddy then instructed another defendant Doe, which ended up being Druski, and instead of immediately R-wording plaintiff, Druski doused plaintiff with lubricant and then jumped on her body and slipped and slid all over it, and because of his enormous size, it was very uncomfortable for her. And then Druski continued to R-word her, and Diddy sat in a chair nearby and watched, touched himself, filmed it, and also laughed. And then all of that, but somebody else called Cornelius ended up being defendant Odell, who also was R-wording her as well. Plaintiff's body was becoming more limp over the course, and then when Druski finished, Christina Coram entered the room to examine the condition of the body, and then basically grabbed an IV fluid and grabbed some more oil for Diddy, and also grabbed medicine bottles, IV fluids, and a powder-like drugs, and also some pills, gave the pills to Diddy, and then Diddy basically forced it into the plaintiff's mouth.
Did y'all see Odell Beckham Jr. and Druski? Straight up, they in the lawsuit right now. They had the names redacted the first go around, but they putting all the names up in there. Okay? Every name that most of the names I put on the title of this video. Even though this is a reaction, so I'm gonna go ahead and let it roll, okay? Okay.
Heavy stuff, guys. Very heavy stuff. Also, forcing somebody to give him a pill is also, I believe, a felony. Correct me if I'm wrong. Defendant Diddy, Shane, KK, Odell, and Druski then all exited the residence and was basically smoking cigarettes. Ashley Parham remained in almost a lifeless state, trying to regain her bodily functions. Plaintiff then began looking for her clothes and her purse that contained her car keys and cell phones, but could not discover the room or anywhere in the apartment or where she was. Plaintiff also observed a black condom wrapper on the floor of the bedroom where she was assumed which was used. She then found a knife with the assistance of the Doe plaintiffs and headed to the backyard where the defendants were smoking. Plaintiff concealed the knife on her left side as she exited the apartment on the backyard area, and upon coming to the exit of the home, which led to the backyard, plaintiff was met by defendant Big Homie Cece, who was standing between the door as a bodyguard. By the time plaintiff was able to compose herself and come to the backyard, Christina Coram was no longer in the backyard, but she was upstairs by the balcony Brandy. Defendant Doe allowed plaintiff to walk to the backyard. Defendant Doe did not see the knife that plaintiff concealed on her left side, as it was obstructed by an oversized t-shirt that Ashley Parham, the plaintiff, was wearing. Plaintiff observed Diddy still partially nude. Defendant Shame then left at the upstairs portion of the patio balcony where Christina and Brandy was, situated. Plaintiff then sat down on a makeshift seat in the backyard where Diddy noticed her presence and remarked that he was surprised she was able to walk after all the stuff that he gave her. I gave you enough drugs to take you out like a horse. Plaintiff then asked Defendant Diddy what he gave her, and he lied and did not provide a response. Diddy then made further comments to plaintiff in a jovial manner by saying that, "Why haven't we partied before? You are so much fun." Disgusting. Big homie CC then quipped at Diddy that he probably hadn't had any ass that tight because he's not used to having anal, and everybody started laughing. Awful. Diddy did not like plaintiff's response to his lighthearted commentary and offered her money and said that she was a worker and told her to make a story that everything was consensual, and she refused. Diddy then told plaintiff no one would ever believe her. Big homie CC then showed plaintiff his phone, which looked as if it was outside of plaintiff's estranged sister's residence, so she could see her sister sitting on the couch and her sister's spouse on the balcony. It looked as if someone was outside the residence streaming. Plaintiff, whilst rattled by what she was seeing, was still angry about being gang R-worded and refused to take any money or refused to listen to Diddy's stories. Defendant Diddy then called defendant Janice in an effort to convince plaintiff to not report. Janice obviously was downplaying everything to Ashley Parham. Diddy then made further threats that he had gotten off from bigger crimes and referred to Tupac. This upset Big homie CC in the moment, and he pulled out his gun on Diddy. As two of them were exchanging words, plaintiff went behind them, defending Big homie CC, where he seemingly began to protect plaintiff in that moment. Big homie CC then advanced to Diddy, questioning him over the comments of Tupac. During this commotion, a neighbor came out of nowhere to find out what was going on. Big homie CC then turned the gun back to Diddy after he told the neighbor to run, and he did. Wow, this is crazy, guys. So Big homie CC and Diddy at this point are having a huge argument. The gun went off and hit a hill behind defendant Shane's residence. Diddy then ran back up the stone stairs near the hill where Christina, Coram, Shane and Brandy were. Plaintiff charged towards Diddy, moving the concealed knife from her left hand to her right hand in the pursuit of Diddy. Plaintiff then pushed Diddy from behind whilst on the stone stairs, causing him to fall back. Ashley then raised the knife in a rage from the events that just transpired. Plaintiff was shocked now because Diddy was panicking and he was begging and pleading for his life. Plaintiff was shocked to see how Diddy basically was acting suddenly now as a victim in this moment. She gained clarity. She didn't use a knife on him. She ran down the outdoor stone staircase and to escape. Defendant Diddy then chased plaintiff down the stairs and attempted to push her, but she was already at the bottom of the stairs. Hearing the commotion, Christina and Brandy emerged, and Christina then began administering first aid to Diddy for the injuries caused by plaintiff. Plaintiff tried to make a quick dash for the exit, but it was thwarted by another defendant Doe. After a period of time, plaintiff was able to abscond from defendant Doe due to the first aid commotion with Diddy, and she was able to run down the street. She began yelling loudly for somebody. She now called up with plaintiff, advised plaintiff that he was an undercover cop. The person that arrived at the house was a Contra Costa Sheriff Department called defendant Pelletier, who basically, guys, ended up being very corrupt because...
You see that? Corrupt. He's also friends with Oprah, okay? Him and Oprah and Diddy, okay? Connect them darn dots. Okay? Man, and the big homie CC? Okay, no, I don't give a crap what you, Jag, nobody gotta say they ain't got to the Jag part, but he's about to get to it, y'all. Y'all can't say nothing to me. Jag especially can't, because they ain't finished with her, but big homie CC, you got mad with Diddy over the Tupac thing, right? And that's the only reason, but you watched that woman get gang raped, stuff put inside her, all that, and you gonna make a joke about he ain't had none that was that tight, from the back and all that stuff. But until it came to Tupac, that's when you turned the pow on Diddy. Okay, but if that wouldn't have came up, you just still been with Diddy, right? Man, please. Okay, that done made me hot. That done made me hot. Alright. Here we go, y'all.
as he is connected. The mob has connected Mao Police Chief John Pelletier in the free fall to Diddy connections. The current Mao Police Chief John Lawrence Pelletier faces renewed scrutiny over his mishandling over multiple disasters that have gone on due to negligence and corruption. And further sources have confirmed Pelletier's direct connections to not only Sean Diddy Combs, but also to Oprah Winfrey as well. So why is this man linked to Oprah when we know for a fact that he's also related and linked to Diddy, and the fact that he's also listed in this lawsuit as a corrupt person by Ashley Parham? Hopefully you guys are still here with me. Hopefully you guys are still following me with this case, because it is very corrupt. This lawsuit is so in-depth and intense, guys. I can't sit here and give you guys cliff notes. We have to listen to every single word. That's how in-depth this is.
It's almost done, though.
On March 26, 2018, the plaintiff contacted a primary care doctor and asked for an HIV and STD test in fear of possibly having contracted a disease from a violent R-word. Told you guys this a couple of weeks ago, that Diddy could be carrying all of this stuff, because these alleged victims in these lawsuits are running around getting these tests done, because of course they're worried. So basically, this particular sheriff is corrupt as hell and is working on Diddy's side, and was basically seen passing envelopes of cash to the neighbor, and that basically his story changed so that he wouldn't support Ashley Parham in this moment as well.
Wow.
Plaintiff also went to the hospital, where the hospital conducted several tests on her, an R-word kit, x-rays, ultrasounds. She also contacted Walnut Creek Police, and she also believes that they have body cam footage of this police report being done. Plaintiff further believes her statements made on March 23rd, immediately after the assault, where Diddy, plaintiff named defendant Diddy directly by the name, may be captured by body camera footage, but upon determining the sheriff was defendant Pelletier, she does not believe that this was captured, because all of this was inherently corrupt in regards to the police departments as well. Initially, she didn't. Afterwards, she just changed the story. Not changed the story, sorry, but she didn't name Diddy. She named others in fear that this would obviously carry more weight, because Diddy's name, of course, carries weight in the corruption of the police system. Plaintiff sought assistance from therapists as well in May 2018. Plaintiff asked the police for a copy of a report from the Walnut Creek Police Department. Plaintiff was provided a letter from the Walnut Creek Police Department stating that it was unable to furnish this information as it is confidential and not subject to public release, despite plaintiff not being the public and, the victim complaint. So the police were refusing to even give her the statement. This is how corrupt this is, guys.
Yeah, very corrupt.
Plaintiff in July 2024 emailed the chief of the sheriff's office regarding her complaint, lack of investigation, and how she was treated by the initial responding officer. And now if we look at plaintiff John and Jane Doe's. Plaintiff John and Jane Doe's are mother and son.
Wow.
Crazy. Defendant Pelletier put a gun to plaintiff John Doe's back and instructed him to get into a black SUV regarding extraditing plaintiff for warrants to California.
Okay, this is the part I need y'all to really listen to. This is where the part of Jag comes in, okay? So listen, because I had to listen hard.
Plaintiff did not have any warrants nor convictions. In the back of a black SUV was defendant Valdez. Defendant was unknown to plaintiffs at the time. Basically a large black SUV where transportation was going on. Defendant Pelletier appeared to be in charge, and he and defendant Valdez were both giving out orders to other co-conspirators. Plaintiffs overheard repeated conversations in the vehicles whilst being kidnapped and transported about following protocol. Upon information and belief, this protocol was agreed upon through communication apps like Snapchat and WhatsApp. It was apparent to plaintiff this was a professional operation. Plaintiffs were then, transported from Las Vegas and to various locations through California. The first location plaintiffs were able to identify was in Danville. In the convoy where the SUV plaintiffs were placed in, they were driven by defendant Gonzalez. Upon information and belief, Christina Corin was also in another SUV. At some point, defendant Gonzalez complained he had trouble keeping up with the convoy. Plaintiffs alleged the convoy drive was for numerous hours, and the next location were, safe houses. Plaintiff heard some altercations with the owners of the home not wanting to be involved with defendant's scheme. Plaintiffs heard the owners speak a foreign language, which they believe was Farsi, which is Iranian, odd. Upon information, there's a large Iranian community in LA. Upon information and belief, this location was approximately 20 miles from the home in Orinda, where plaintiff Parham basically was violated. During the transportation, plaintiff across state lines, they were given water to drink, whilst plaintiffs believed that she was given substances. Plaintiff was then taken to another location. Plaintiff was able to keep track of the location by recalling the streets. During the stop, when plaintiff noticed defendant KK was part of the convoy, and at this stop, KK was being referred to as a code name, which she believed to be Natasha. Plaintiff was then taken to another location at the Beacon Grand Hotel. Defendant Shane worked at the hotel as a manager. Plaintiff was taken to a hotel through what appeared to be the side entrance. Wow! Once inside the hotel room, plaintiff was then beaten and drugged by defendant Valdez and Gonzalez. She pleaded. Defendant Valdez and Gonzalez instructed plaintiffs to sign paperwork at gunpoint. When plaintiffs refused, defendant Gonzalez would pistol whip plaintiff on the back of the head.
Wow.
Defendant Gonzalez eventually gave plaintiff a drink. The next morning, plaintiffs were restrained and bound by their hands in front and were placed into a vehicle. Plaintiffs then saw defendant Jaguar Wright and Helena. Plaintiffs were then transported to the location of plaintiff Parham's brutal place. Defendant Helena was the driver and defendant Jaguar was the passenger. Defendant Helena warned plaintiffs if they tried to escape or run that they would have to be shot. Helena also warned plaintiffs not to throw up in the vehicle or even get sick, and mentioned having two parties as backups who were bounty hunters. Plaintiffs were familiar with defendant Helena from her previous Michael Jackson lawsuits and had previously met with defendant at a home in West Hollywood. Plaintiff noticed defendants had large brown bags and manila envelopes full of cash that was banded. It appeared that they were separating the large sums of cash to distribute as they were placing cash into the manila envelopes. Defendant Jaguar and defendant Helena discussed the other co-conspirators but referred to them as their middle names. When defendant Jaguar said Cornelius Odell was upset that Helena, who said that Odell and Druski were clients and nothing better happened to them and plaintiffs better not say anything about them or she would have plaintiffs killed. Jaguar then told plaintiffs they were being taken to meet John, and that plaintiffs now know that they were referring to defendant Diddy.
Dang.
When defendant arrived with plaintiff at the Loma Vista location, it appeared they were waiting and coordinating for others to arrive. Plaintiffs remember looking for intercepting street signs. Plaintiffs believe that this was the home where they would be basically killed. Plaintiffs were brought into the house and into the kitchen, and they were watched by Gonzalez. The plaintiffs repeated their pleas to Gonzalez to be released, but Gonzalez did not care. Plaintiffs could hear other people inside the home and tried to listen to understand.
Y'all, making my head go. But y'all, Jaguar is not done talking. Because I know that's why most of people are looking. But she's not done, y'all. Lord. Just keep listening, okay, please? And please hit the subscribe button as you listen, please.
This time what was happening. Plaintiffs were led deeper into the home where they were encountering more individuals. Plaintiff observed several individuals gathered around a bed. Plaintiff observed defendant Jaguar Wright and Helena enter the residence. Jaguar told plaintiffs, he wants something you have. If I were you, I'd figure out what it is really fast. The he defendant was referring to Diddy. This is crazy. Shortly after, defendant Druski appeared wearing a vest and shorts and he engaged in a conversation with plaintiffs. Plaintiff tried to appeal to defendant by talking about the music industry. Plaintiff described what they observed during the assault of plaintiff Parham after the interaction. Plaintiff observed plaintiff Parham having an IUD forcibly placed into her.
Dang. Thank
Plaintiff
you
heard
exposing
defendant
the
KK
truth.
make a remark
Love you.
about plaintiff
Thank you.
Jane Doe's age. Whilst hearing plaintiff Parham scream in agony during the false IUD insertion, plaintiff Jane Doe yelled, "Stop hurting her." Plaintiffs observed defendant Shane place a pillow over plaintiff Parham's face. Plaintiff Jane Doe believed plaintiff Parham did also lose consciousness as well. Plaintiff John Doe believed he heard defendant Jaguar Wright make the remarks, "Put that remote in her. She was going to learn today. Let's go and make it worse. Let's make it worse." This is what Jaguar Wright was allegedly saying whilst plaintiff Parham was...
Y'all, he's gonna repeat it because he knows how everybody's so into Jag and not believing some people, and people get mad when we can't get like me. I cannot mentally I could not see eye to eye with her, okay? But I never typed anything crazy. It was something in me that says something ain't right about her. Okay, that's it. Now we hearing it. It's in the lawsuit. But I'm still say allegedly, but it's still in the lawsuit, y'all. Thank you exposing the truth. Thank you. I am trying. But here we go, y'all.
Was being violently R-worded. If this is right, Jaguar Wright is absolutely disgusting. This is disgusting allegations and brutally exposing her in these lawsuit court documents. If this is what she was doing, and this is all true, I'm gonna read this out for you guys. Plaintiff John Doe believed he heard defendant Jaguar Wright make remarks, "Put that remote in her. She's going to learn today." Absolutely disgusting.
My God.
Disgusting. Plaintiff John Doe then witnessed the gang R-word of Plaintiff Parham by Druski, Odell, and Diddy. Defendant Diddy then attempted to force Plaintiff John Doe to also assault Plaintiff Parham, but John Doe, refused in this moment of time. Defendant Diddy instructed defendant co-conspirators to yank, grab, and pull at Plaintiff John Doe's private parts in an effort to punish him for not participating in the gang R-word. John Doe believes defendant Diddy wanted plaintiff to R-word Parham so they could frame him instead in an effort to get DNA from plaintiff John Doe to place on Parham. Defendant Diddy had one of the defendant's co-conspirators orally copulate plaintiff to get semen from him, but failed. What?
Crazy. Hey, fat boo.
What? Excuse
Love
me?
you. Exactly.
What did I just read today?
Jaguar Wright's name up in here today. And big homie CC, dang, y'all. Y'all crazy. Odell Beckham Jr.
This is crazy.
Odell.
In an effort to get DNA from plaintiff John Doe to place on plaintiff Parham, defendant Diddy had one of the defendant co-conspirators orally copulate plaintiff John Doe to get semen from him, but it failed. Guys, this is the second lawsuit. This is the second lawsuit. This is the second lawsuit, guys, where Diddy's been trying to get semen from people. Plaintiff John Doe observed Christina Coram return to the room to check on plaintiff Parham, providing IV. Plaintiff observed others outside believed to be defendant Diddy's sons, Christian Combs and Quincy Combs. Boom. Plaintiffs observed them roughhousing and practicing layup basketball moves. Plaintiff heard defendant Diddy tell his sons to watch the gate and make sure no one left. Wow! Plaintiff observed defendant Gonzalez outside the front door, where the front door was barricaded by yellow crime scenes like tape. The door lock was unusual because it was facing backwards. Fearing no way to escape, plaintiff Jane Doe mentioned to plaintiff John Doe that she overheard them say, "Put it on top of the refrigerator," and instructed them to check, and they found a knife. Plaintiff then heard ramblings from the room. Plaintiff Parham was in and went to check in on her to stop her from making too much noise. They both, John and Jane Doe, basically ended up reuniting and were able to find an opportunity to escape, is what the rest of the lawsuit is basically detailing. And then it goes on to discuss how Jaguar and Helena were in a nearby vehicle. This is crazy, guys. And how they both see this is a whole movie. This lawsuit is a whole movie, and it ends with both of them basically, John and Jane Doe, basically going to a police station with the intention of filing, but remembered overhearing conversations from the defendants during their transport when the defendant believed he could not hear him, that if plaintiffs ever reported this, they will be deemed crazy and not believable, and their lives basically put in danger. So this is a very long lawsuit. This is a very long video. I know, guys, I had to read everything out to you. Jaguar Wright being exposed in this way.
Yeah, Jaguar Wright, look, it's right here. Plaintiff John Doe believes he heard defendant Jaguar make remarks. Put that remote in her. She's gonna learn today, and telling the plaintiff Parham that she was going to make it worse. Plaintiff believed the remote assault was to punish plaintiff for something. I don't know. But anyway, y'all see it. It's in the lawsuit. Jaguar Wright is in the freaking lawsuit. Y'all remember that girl that said she didn't believe her boyfriend, whoever was talking to Diddy on the phone, and then when they finally got Diddy on the phone, she said, "Oh, I don't like him. I don't like you because I think you had something to do with Tupac." You know what I mean? And then when her and her boyfriend, they went somewhere, and then Diddy ended up coming in, allegedly. I gotta say allegedly. Yeah. Yep, that's what they talking about, except they threw the names Odell Beckham Jr., Big Homie CC, Jaguar Wright, Oprah, the police sergeant or whatever, his two sons. Dang, y'all. Man, it's in there. I ain't get it all written down and I ain't say all the names, but daggone it. And then Druski, man, it's in there. Man, okay. I just saw this and that's why it just took me out. Man, I just hurried up and just went on live. Alright, I love y'all. Yeah, Oprah. Oprah always Oprah. Oprah is friends with the crooked sergeant or whatever he is, and or she is with KK as far as getting the women or the Johns so they can be so. I don't know if I can say SOLD. Wait, traffic it. That's what I'm gonna say. Traffic it. Yes, Oprah always been up in there. Oprah always been up in there. Y'all, I gotta go. I got to go. I love y'all. This story done tripped me out. I'm gonna try to find some more about it. Woo! Thank you, Fat Boo, for coming through, girl. Lord. Okay, I'll see y'all later. I love y'all. All right, have a blessed night.